with
This
my GTS
conference
career.
will now be recorded.
Yeah. So my career started with GTS some 9 years back. So executed multiple region projects. Now currently working for one of the biggest MNC, where I lead almost 4H project parallelly. Okay, this is all about myself, and I am one of the key person in the entire big MNC organization for the trade brief. So I'm one of the key person for that. So, but it doesn't matter that I'm not familiar with other modules. I'm an expert there. I mean, which is a complex module. I hope Yogi might help me here. But my other question I will start once my intro is completed. So, do you, Yogi? Maybe I think I understood Anjan doesn't have any experience with SAP. Do you hear anything about GTS? Maybe if you can give me what kind of information you have, I can give more better interactive demo, that just to try to keep it interactive.
Yeah, sure, Kumar. Actually, since I'm working in, order to cash consultant as an order
Hmm.
to cash consultant,
Hmm.
I know there is an integration part between, when we create a sales orders, we have to do some sanction party screening and
Hmm.
some compliance management. Uh, I I don't have any idea on how like SAP GTS screen looks, but I just have an idea that we have to validate the master data and transactional data when we
Hmm.
create order or ship the order. That's it. Apart from
Okay.
that, I have heard a lot of improvements that happen over the time between
Hmm.
ECC HANA, GTS ECC versus GTS on HANA. So that's what I wanted to learn.
Sure, sure. I think thanks for intro. I think as Anjan is not much familiar with SAP, so I will try to go a little slow. But
Okay.
if you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that you can require a little more faster, I'll try to next 1 hour. I try to make sure that you familiar what SAP GTS and what is latest version, what kind of expertise you required to be in order to continue, or you want in order to grow in SAP career, especially with GTS. I think the same way, Yogi, I started somewhere around sixth year of my SAP career with GTS, but I think now I'm pure now SAP GTS consultant, but I never leave SD or MM or any EWM or TM because that is a key. Okay. So why I'm
Correct.
asking all this is when you are working for GTS, GTS is not a standalone system. Just to want to make sure that it is clear, it is not a standalone system. It is a kind of we call a slave system. That means that we receive a order, I mean request from the feeder systems. Feeder means the S4HANA system or any where the real transaction being processed, and the slave system will perform the activity and control it. Slave is not that not only perform activity, it's also control the transaction, what feeder system is supposed to do and what system should not do it. So this is a kind of a more controlled system. So I will go in detail one by one, but I think so in order to do that you need to know more into the SD. If you are SD consultant, it is kind of easy for you to adapt the GTS very quick way. But if it is not if you're new to SAP, I think we need to go a little slower in the SAP language first, and then we need to go to the GTS. That's why I think our export soft training prepared a curriculum in this way. We will initially kind of give a kind of high level intro. Then we'll touch base of SAP other modules, like what are the dependent modules which we need to know if you are to work with the GTS, like SD, MM, finance, EWM, okay, and TM. So I will try to touch base those all points. Then coming back to the other sub module, I'm not going to go inside details. There's a three major submodules which is in SAP GTS. One is a compliance management, second one is a customs management, third one is preference management, or people call risk management. There is one more module is in the curriculum. It is intrastat reporting. We will talk little later, but this can be handled not only GTS, we can also handle in S4. And I will also tell in what cases we should implement this intrastat reporting at GTS and what cases we should implement in the S4 HANA. Okay. So coming back to the introduction, right? Okay, before we start any GTS, I would like to understand, give you a little bit of background of order to cash process. Then we will go to the our GTS high level overview, so it'll easy for you to understand. Okay, so when you create a sales order, I mean OTC is like where you do a sales to the your product to the customers. Okay, you're selling your product to the customers. Okay, in such case you receive orders, we call in SAP it's a sales order, and in order to perform all the logistics operations like picking, packing, all those activity, will create another document called delivery. Okay, then the delivery gets processed, and some companies will also use transportation methodology. Earlier we used to call a shipment, now we are completely using another method SAP is offering with the transportation system. And I'm not going in deep, but once the transportation is done, in order to start our goods out from our warehouse, we need to perform a goods issue. Means that we are sending, okay, let's go, the truck go should go out. Okay, then we call a goods issue. Then once goods issue is done, we will be able to perform a billing document. So because we sell that product to the customer, we should initiate the invoice copy to the customer. Once the invoice is sent to the customer, finance team is responsible to collect the money. It's a high level layman terminology how sales works out. Okay, and I try to adapt with some words with SAP. One, the process start with sales order. Okay, I will go back and come into the Excel, so it is easy to for you to understand. Okay, we'll start with sales order. Okay, we'll perform a delivery. Then some cases we'll use shipment. Okay, some companies also use a transportation methodology, we call freight orders or forwarding orders. Okay, then we also create a invoice or a billing document. This is all about the sales process. Okay, within the sales process there is a multiple deviation. We have a different types of sale, different types of, we also have a returns, we also have a consignment flow, we also have a contracting flow, we have a contract, inquiries, quotation, lot many different deviation. But in a high level, this is how the process flow works out. Okay, so the same way, if I come to now, people call, earlier used to call this OTC also people used to call SD. Now people started calling order to cash, OTC means. Now is what we are now calling here is P2P. Okay, thank you. P2P, procure to pay, or MM, material management. So here where we purchase the goods, right, in order to prepare our production final product where we are selling. So we need a raw component. For that we need to create a purchase order to our supplier, our vendors or suppliers, however you call. Then once PO gets created, we create IBD, inbound delivery document. Then we'll create invoice. The previous invoice what I was referring is a customer invoice, this we call vendor invoice. Okay, so again the PO also has a lot many deviation. If you are purchasing this product within our other company, or are we purchasing from some third party customer, or how are we purchasing based on the different series, you have a multiple combinations in purchase side also. Okay, so with the latest some of the project, not some, I would say 80 to 70% projects, because of SAP recommendation, they are started implementation EWM. Okay, EWM system. So what does EWM system does? EWM system basically involved in order to do a better warehouse management activity, extended warehouse management. Maybe you might have here WM. Okay, that is kind of a initial version, but this is the extended. We will able to see our stock at very minute level of a bin. So in a simple language, mm, um, if you are in a big building, so if you want to say in way EWM way, you are working in this building. But if you are saying in EWM way, you are working in this building, this floor, this ODC and this seat. That's how the difference between WM and EWM. So with that we are able to manage our warehouse activities so accurately. But it required its own advantage and disadvantage. I don't want to talk about it, but it is there. So the last important object which I want to talk about, TMS, transport management system. As I said, we need to ship the transports where the freight forwarders. It is also same. Earlier shipment, it's only talks about what is the route, which shipment, how many trucks and all. With this TMS, it is kind of an advanced methodology. With SAP S4HANA, these all are now embedded within the same S4HANA system. You will be able to see all those. So most of the customers trying to adopt that features. And now also there is a new methodology in TMS LBN. Okay, I don't want to go that extensive, but there is another tool also came into picture. So why I'm talking about TMS, with the TMS also we need integration with our GTS system. And last but not least, finance. Okay, what finance we are integrating with our GTS? Finance is, as I mentioned here, once the invoices are getting created, the finance team, where they are going to get the bills, collect the bills, collect the money from the customer, paying the money to the suppliers, all those activity will be handled in the finance. So with this finance also, when they are creating, they will create a payment documents. Okay, either customer payment or vendor payment. Here also we do a kind of a GTS integration. So these are the four modules. I'm not saying you should be expertise in this. If one of the area, if you are expert, it is sufficient. But if you are not, if you're new to SAP, even it is okay, we are there to help you out. But I would expect we are not going to more focus on these areas. Okay, our only activity at this training is focused to talk about a GTS. But as I mentioned, GTS is not a standalone system. It required the data from the feeder system. Okay, means all these modules has to supply inputs to GTS to perform their activities. Are we clear? Are any questions till now before I proceed further?
Clear,
Clear,
no
sir.
problem.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Let's go. Okay, so just allow me a second. Somebody is knocking the door. Just allow me a second. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, so coming back to GTS. Okay, so think that this all are belongs to SAP S4 HANA system. Okay, so I will go back to PPT, but I think I would I mean I'm more comfortable with handling things on the Excel. If needed, we'll go back to PPT. Okay, so GTS, this is GTS is another system. So the same way, right? Dilip, are we able to only support S4 HANA system with our GTS? No. I think you all know there's a previous version of S4 is ECC. We can also connect with ECC. Okay. Dilip, is it only SAP systems? No. We can also work with any other systems. Okay. Like I will try to document some things like MDG system. This is also SAP system. Okay, where the master data governance will happen here, means customers, vendors will be get created here. Okay, we can also perform integration with this. And Oracle, this is another ERP tool. We can also integrate with Oracle. Okay, Oracle also has a trade system, but it is we can also integrate with that. And any other system, any non-SAP system, any system, non-SAP, SAP, anything we can able to connect. The only difference is how we are connecting with GTS is a difference. Okay, rest all remains same. Okay, we are going to talk about that later. Coming back to the GTS, and anybody can give a try. What is GTS? What it does? Maybe Anjan, do you know anything about GTS? Okay, do you know anything about GTS? Give it a try. I mean, it's okay. Even it is right or wrong, I'm not trying to.
It's
Uh,
like
mhm.
yes, sir, it's like importing and exporting the manufactured goods from one country to another country,
Mhm.
maintaining the sales and distributions, which can be handled throughout the applications.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. Yogi, you want to add anything?
Yeah, no, it's global trade services, right? Wherever we
Mm-hmm.
do the business with the foreign countries from one country, and if we have any ERP implemented, we have to use the GTS software in one or other form.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you guys already kind of quite familiar, but let me go back a little more detail. Okay. So early days, okay, in the form of 18th century or 17th century, or even before our independence, we are struggled with lot many other country people. That's because they started came to India to perform a business, and it's kind of a international business, they did it. But unfortunately, because of lot many different reasons, we become like slaves with them. That's a different story. But that is how the international business started. So that means that whenever you are selling any product outside your territory, okay, your country, that means that we are doing a business with internationally. So why the international business is so keen, right? Early days, if you look at the transactions between international is so less compared to, if you see early days, are you able to purchase anything goods directly from other country to you? There is no way. I mean, if you want to purchase some goods from international country to India for as a end customer, you need to go to some broker, you need to go to some authority, get the approval. It used to take its own time. Now things are kind of so easy. Even a small common person also able to purchase by using, maybe if you all know, there's a Chinese website where you can able to make a purchase directly and they will deliver to you. Maybe it will take its own time. Okay, AliExpress, if you all know. So you can also do purchase. That means that international trade is so simple to make purchases or sales to other countries. That means that this is what is the advantage side. If you look at other direction, when it is number of transactions are increased, the flexibility is increased, automatically fraud gets increased and challenges will be increased. So countries started putting I mean controls, right? You should do only certain type of business to this country, you should do only certain type of business to this country. So there is a organization called WTO, okay, World Trade Organization, and there is a multiple organizations, okay, and but this is one of the prominent organization where they kind of put more and rules and regulation worldwide. Whoever part of WTO or WTO membership, they should definitely follow a rules and regulation when they are doing a international trade with other countries. Means when you are exporting for example rice to the some other country, you need to follow certain rules and regulation. And when you are importing a certain goods from other country, you need to follow certain rules and regulation. What are that certain rules and regulation? Maybe you need to pay the duties to the company country, or you should not sell a certain products to some third party countries. And if you want to sell some type of a products to other countries, you should have a proper license with your local country. So this all is what SFWTO brought into picture. Now when the company, when you are handling one company and where you implemented one of the system, for example you implemented S4HANA system where you're doing your transaction, so who would be able to know uh, the customer, right? Other side, for example you receive a goods from some X country, okay, request from a X country, you don't know whether that country, the person is a terrorist organization or that country is a different type of entity. You don't know that. So who will even remember? Maybe if it's a prominent terrorist organization, maybe everybody know it, but some organization doesn't even come into limelight, but they do all the organization, all the activity. Maybe that local country know it, but not all other world. So for that we need a tool. Okay, we need some tool in order to handle these kind of situations. That's why SAP came up with a tool called SAP GTS. Okay, and you all familiar with the evolution of the GTS also started some 21 years ago, which is somewhere around 2004 or 2004. Actually it started 2003 and 4 era it was started. Like by the time SAP is already started with 6 to 7 years of experience. So with the same, like what SAP is evolving from the feeder system, which is S4 HANA side, same way GTS also evolving. There is a multiple versions. At least I familiar with, I didn't work much, but I started my GTS career with 8 8.0, okay, and 8.1. These are the versions of SAP GTS. Then I worked on 10. Then the 11. 11 is almost rule the entire trade world from the SAP as application. So it was one of the easiest point. And if you look at, I equivalently wrote against to ECC, because ECC also one of the ECC is one of the almost rule the world, because earlier versions of SAP also it was not so consistent, but ECC is kind of, even till today some of the companies will prefer to go back to ECC, but there is some challenges. But the same way GTS also have a version called 11, GTS 11. But as SAP is now converting to the cloud way, Okay, it is making easy, okay, with multiple different features like a Fury apps, like cloud foundries, and the way the things are making it simple. So they also, SAP also started evolving like E4H, is it? Okay, like how we call S4HANA, S4 SAP side also we called E4H. Okay, E4H, there's a versions was released 2020, I mean, which was released on 2021, but the version we call SAP E4H 2020. Currently on available market, I mean, one of the latest version is SAP E4H 2023. So why I'm talking is, these are the some of the important knowledge you need to know when you're trying to learn something else. And I think SAP is promising by SAP 2025 they are planning to bring SAP 2025 version. Okay, so this is not that available, but I think they are planning to bring by 2025. So this is a current version what we have, most of the customers or most of the companies are currently implementing when they are migrating with their version. Now coming back to the GTS. GTS, what it does, GTS is one of the tool from SAP. We are talking about it to in order to help the trade activities. Okay, what kind of a trade? We talked about lot many challenges. We don't want to do business. Okay, we don't want to do business with a certain people in the other side of world. Okay, how we will know where WCO or local companies or local countries are putting a list? Okay, don't do this business with these countries. Okay, and we also some restriction that don't do business with the don't do business with countries also. The previous one if I talk about is a people are a companies, but the second one is basically don't want to do business with countries. I don't, it's not that I don't want, but a global trade saying don't do business with these people. Okay, and as I mentioned other point what just told, like if I want to do a business, okay, I need to have extra additional licenses. Okay, I need to have an extra authorization. Then this is the three challenges what we came across in order to have to perform our trade activities. Okay, so this is one way. And we want to import a goods, right? When you are importing a goods, as I mentioned, you need to get approval from the local customs authorities. Means maybe if you are importing a goods to okay, if you want to import a goods to India for example, so you need to get it approval from Indian customs authority. Okay, so you need to perform import, you need to perform kind of authorizations with your local customs authority. Or you are selling some goods outside, so you need a permission from local custom authority, you need approval for that. Okay, and I'm not going to talk about the last area, I will go with it, but with I will go back to the what are the challenges what we have currently and how we are able to achieve with the SAP GTS, right? That's what I'm trying to talk about it here. So I don't want to do business with the people or companies. There is a module called SPL. Some people also call DPL. Okay, sanctions parties list screen. That means that SAP offering a module called SPL. With that, we should be able to restrict. You post any transaction in your FEDER system, GTS will perform a screening and will block it without any activity to be performed. Okay,
So Kumar, question here.
go ahead.
So you say that WTO, World Trade Organization, will give the authority approval, yes or no, if there is a certain customer, say for example Nigeria, there might be some customer in Nigeria which is like having a bad credit or bad reputation. Okay, then that customer name will be updated in the WTO website or somewhere in the system, WTO system.
Mhm.
So at the same time, do they provide the list of those bad customers and we have to upload in the GTS system, or GTS system will go and talk to the WTO and then bring the result back?
So I think I think you have a right gist of question. I'm definitely gonna answer before end of this call for sure.
Okay,
So
okay.
it gonna cover. Okay, I think that is all about the sanctions party list screening module does.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem
Okay,
then. Yeah, yeah.
so
Okay.
to justify your answer, WTO maybe they will maintain entries, but they are not going to give a permission to your GTS to talk to WTO. No, there is a different approach we are going to talk
Okay.
about.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
so I'm
Perfect. Okay.
trying to introduce all the modules to you by with your basic understanding, basic world trade challenges, and I am trying to map it with this. Okay,
Okay. Okay. No problem.
so where we don't want to do a business, okay, how system how GTS is offering, there's a concept called embargo. Okay, there is another module called embargo. In that we will be able to handle if I don't want to do business with a certain country. For example, I'm selling a goods to um, Syria, okay, or Iraq, so I should not do that business. So with this module we'll be able to control. And as I mentioned, the third one is basically this is talks about more on the product specific requirements. When I'm trying to purchase a product, when I try to export a product, should I have additional license? This will be handled with legal control. So these are the three modules which we'll be able to handle to in order to satisfy the global trade requirement. These three modules as kind of a doing a kind of a compliance validation where you company should not obey. I mean, the company has to obey. There is no way that they should escape to follow these rules and regulations. There is no way out. They need to follow. So in that case, that's why SAP put the name as compliance manager. Okay, so this module we call a compliance management. This is what I was referring. Compliance module will be able to handle our compliance module. Compliance management module will help you to manage your all compliance activity. Okay, whether you should do a business with a certain people or company and outside our country or within the country or anywhere in the world. Okay, and embargo will help you to stop business with certain countries, and legal control will be help us to handle additional requirement, additional licenses when we need to do a business with certain countries and customers. Okay, I'm going to go in detail, but I think this is trying to introduce of a compliance module. So the another module where I am saying that we need to goods and a goods to outside, okay, we call export. Okay, and when you are importing a goods, I mean when you are receiving goods from other country, we call import. So in order to do that, we need to get approval from customs authority. All this will be handled with customs management. Okay, and where we will be, I mean this is what talks about more customs authorities, how we can able to take a printouts, how we can able to get things done. Okay, I mean there's a multiple variation, I'm going to talk about it. And there's one more module which I mentioned called risk management. So I don't want to call so detail at this point in time. I will definitely go and explain. But this module basically in order to, for example, you are importing a goods, right, from, for example, Sri Lanka, and the same goods you are importing from the other country, Germany, and the same product may be importing from the two different country based on a certain agreement which India already have with other countries. Okay, we call FTAs, free trade agreements. Okay, we call it, maybe you all know Jaysankar. Okay, Jaysankar's responsibility is this: he will make these FTAs with all other country with India. Same like India, every country has similar persons, they will take care of making agreement with other countries. What this agreement does, okay, you export these goods to my country, I will give subsidy in order to send the goods, and you import these goods to from my country to your country, so you will get a subsidy. So it's kind of, you for example take Israel, not Israel, Russia. Take Russia. Okay, we are selling rice, okay, some kind of a products, but where they are selling some kind of a wheat, okay, flour and all. So that means that when we are importing wheat from the Russia, maybe we will get it with 100 euro, for example, 100 Russian currency. But when you are importing the same wheat from other country where we don't have this agreement, maybe we need to pay 150 euro, for example. Okay, because with this agreement system, companies, countries trying to bring more business between these two countries to create business between these two countries. Automatically, the company country's revenue will increase. Okay, so many I mean, whoever lives in Russia, they will try to procure from India instead of going to other country because they have more subsidy. I will give you why, what is a big deal, how much subsidy. If you all know BMW car, okay, BMW basically manufacturing in Germany, right? So when you are importing a goods, any BMW car, okay, okay, if you purchase from if you are purchasing BMW car, that means that product is being imported from Germany to India. Okay, that means that when you are importing, for example, this car cost is 1 crore, okay, and you need to pay at least 1.2 2 cr for sure. The reason behind is the import duty is 105% from the Russia to India, sorry, Germany to India for these particular products. With this risk management, we will be able to try to avoid this or try to minimize this. Okay, Jaishankar, at least Modi government is trying with Germany and European market to enable some FTAs, okay, agreements, but it is not happening because of so and different reasons. But I think in worldwide, we have almost 600 plus agreement FTAs in the worldwide. That means that one country to another, one country to multiple other countries like that. But in SAP as of today, what I seen somewhere around 150 agreement were actively being supported by SAP because there is a benefit out of using this risk management with SAP. They have some savings. With these kind of all things will be handled with risk management. Any questions before I go back to the details? Mm, Anjana or
Oh, sir, good, sir.
Yogi?
Clear, sir.
No, good, good. Yep.
Perfect. So coming back to the slide, okay, we are okay. Let me go back to here. Introduction of GTS, advantages of GTS. Okay, so I will try to talk about little bit of advantage. I mean, in order to with the applications or with the services what SAP is offering, we you should follow. There is no way out. Okay, you have to follow these. If not, you will get huge penalties. Okay, I will give you one of the latest. I will try to get that screen print in the maybe next meeting. One of the country where I know them, they've been fined with there's a company called BAS in US, some billions dollars, $100 billion, because they are doing a business with Russia. If you all know, right, US should not do business with Russia because they have this Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, and it's not why it has happened because there is no proper control. Okay, and they are now implementing GTS, okay, uh, with us, okay, but they are already being fined this with this fraud because it happened without knowing by any other system, because they're currently using non-SAP system where there is not have that kind of a control in order to stop that. SAP will help you to restrict this. I'm not saying that it will 100% stop, but it will try to avoid as much as possible, because from as a your IT person, while you're implementing, you should understand proper requirement and implement it, and customer side also properly understand and perform activity on a daily basis. If these any of these things are failed, these mistakes can happen. SAP is offering a good product, but you should be able to utilize how much extensively you're utilizing is a matters. Okay, so the same way, another advantage, it will help you to prepare your document, because if you want to import a goods from the different country, it's a one time order, so you don't need to implement SAP. Okay, you can ask some broker. There's a lot many brokers in the system like DHL. Some transport companies also do now broker activities. They will import goods on behalf of you, because that also require additional license in order to import. But if you are having a company, you do more than 100 transactions per day, you are exporting to worldwide, then you should implement, you should not pay the duty or amount to these brokers, because this is too expensive. You can manage with it. And SAP GTS will help you to streamline the process with minimal efforts. Okay, the same way it with the by implementing a risk management, with one of my experience, per year they have $6 billion savings. They are now seeing it, $6 billion, okay, per year. And we implemented of, I mean, I don't know about our project, but I think of two resources are working for entire that two 6 billion savings in a year. So that's how advantage by implementing SAP GTS. But as I mentioned, it is also have advantages, also have a work. I mean, you need to also support from IT side. Also, you need to have a good amount of support required from the business side. Let's go, because we are almost reaching to our demo, but I will make sure that understand little more familiarity. So you all know SAP terminology. Material. Material means what kind of product you are selling or you are purchasing. Okay. And a customer to whom you are selling, and also we call a supplier. And these are the three master data as of now. Just remember this. I will gonna talk about it later one while we are going further. But I took two customers, one customer with US within the US region, and another customer in the GTS, which is sorry in the Germany. That means that one domestic customer and one international customer. This is just an example. So you, I mean, I think for the people who work in SAP, you all know these words called a company code and plan, storage location, sales org, and all. So these all elements are needed, because I didn't talk about all this, because as per today's demo I'm going to showcase one simple sales flow where it perform a kind of a activities what it's supposed to be. I will try to show you how it works out, and I'm gonna show you a little more information, little more details later. Okay. So feeder system point of view, where you create a company code. Okay. Company code where your financial activity will be performed and captured. So in the GTS side, we will use the same company code as a foreign trade organization, or we also call as FTO. Okay. And in the same way, plant where the real our manufacturing activity or logistic activity will be performed, we will call a plant. In the SAP GTS world, we call a legal unit. Storage location is a almost kind of a sub to the your plant. Maybe one area, one part of your area where you are receiving imports, one part of area you are only selling the goods, that we call as a storage location. In GTS also we will still call as a legal unit. But I'm not going to show this as of today, but I think in the next sessions I'm going to show how we can able to use storage location and what purpose we can able to use this. Okay, I will just give an example, right? For example, your plant has a more than a very big plant, but you want to handle one. When you receive one side of the plant, you want to have a different kind of a rules and regulations from the GTS side, and when you are receiving the goods from other side of plant, you want to perform a different set of rules and regulations. Then we will enable our GTS control at storage location level. Okay. And as I mentioned, risk management we also call a administrative unit or admin unit. Okay. This is equivalent to your one plant from your FEDA system, or a certain group of plants from your FEDA system will link to one admin unit. Okay. And sales organization or purchase organization are not related to GTS, because GTS will only look after your trade related activity. They don't care about how your sale, what kind of sales you're doing. They really don't worry about it. Okay. And they will be worried if you're doing a different types of sales, and we will need to make it kind of a mapping in our target side. But I think they doesn't matter in which sales organization you're doing these businesses. They only care about these elements. And as you remember or not, okay, and we talked about compliance, right? Compliance management, customs management, and risk management are now in E4H. No more risk management there, because earlier risk management has more than two module. One is risk management and another one is LOC, letter of credit. Now risk is completely removed, so hence they are now renamed entire module itself a preference management. Okay. So why I'm saying these three modules again here. Okay. So whenever I'm performing a compliance management, system will consider the base, okay, from where the legal control has to be driven based on your plant in our federal system. Means whatever plant country, its system does not care about what company code country. System will only care about plant country. But whereas when the system is performing customs management, system will consider only company code country, doesn't care about what plant country. The reason behind, customs are always driven on your company level. Okay. The compliance management has to be is kind of a where the physical operations has happening, right? So you need to perform a compliance against the physical location. But customs management is kind of a administrative activity, so where you need to driven with customs management. And risk management, as I mentioned, the plant and plant group. Okay, so this is how you need to understand. And I will gonna talk about this. Before that, you also need to know, and when you are becoming a GTS consultant, you need to ask your OTC team or your MM team or FI team, any other modules, whenever they make any changes to these objects, they need to let you know, like company code, plans, if they are changing anything, company code, country, region, language, document type, item category, movements, lot many other fields. I keep adding while we are discussing, I don't want to confuse, that's why I added only certain high level elements. I will also tell you why we need to let them know whenever they make any changes to this, we also get impacted ourselves. I will tell you one example. When the company code, for example, GSAM, okay, they created for US, okay, because GFTO underscore GSAM, you will create a foreign trade organization in GTS and with US. For example, if they change something else, maybe 2 years to some other company, for example, you also need to change. If not, from your fader system, behavior will be different, and your GTS activity is performing completely wrong way. Okay, so while we are talking about each and individual document, you will definitely get to know. So one other important aspect before I go into the system is you need to map your sales document types, okay, from your fader system to your GTS system. Okay, also you need to map item category, and we also need to map in GTS. You also need to map, as I mentioned, we talked about this, we talked about all these activities into system. That's why whenever they make any changes to S4 side or fader system side, they need to let us know. We also need to sync the respect to configuration accordingly in the GTS. Now let me go back to the S4 HANA system. Okay, so this is one of the S4 HANA system which are
So, so these are two systems, right, Kumar?
mm-hmm,
What you
mm-hmm,
are showing. So
correct.
one is S4 HANA on
Mm-hmm,
your logon pad,
mm-hmm.
and another
Okay,
is GTS.
GTS,
Okay,
correct.
okay. And these two are connected through some
RFC,
XML RFC connection. Okay,
yes. I
okay.
think it's a good point. I will try to quickly navigate because I thought of quickly go to the GTS. So when S4 HANA, okay, is connected with RFC, remote functional call, okay, to GTS, and even S4 HANA is embedded with S4 HANA TM. You all know TMS is within the S4 HANA, but we still use web services to GTS. The same way, if S4 HANA EWM is again RFC, okay, but even S4 HANA now introduced a few little concept for web services also they are using. We are going to talk about that later, but predominantly it is RFC. Okay, and if you are connecting with this GTS system, as I mentioned, with subsystems, right, customs authority, customs, okay, we will use idocs, okay, we will use some third party middleware, 3PLs or middleware systems. For especially customs, one of the common used customs middleware is a cburger. Okay, I'm not saying there's only one middleware, but I think there's multiple middleware, but this is also one of the predominantly used cburger. Okay, cburger, in order to communicate your custom related activities. Okay, and any other data providers, okay, where I think I didn't talk about much about SPL now, but SPL is basically sanctions party list screening, right? As I mentioned earlier, sanctions party list being prepared by the WTO. WTO is not only WTO, every country has their own independent subsidiary organizations. Okay, within US itself there are almost 8 to 9 company subsidiary department. They will prepare their list, and the list will be prepared and keep it somewhere. So how we will know, how GTS system will know? They don't know. So there is a concept called data provider. Okay, so one of the common data provider which in the market you also used to see is a discards. Okay, this is one of the common used discards, and other one is Rigways. Okay, I mean these are the some of the common data provider. What this data provider does, they will go to all these government agencies and get the list and prepare in kind of an XML format, and they will give it to GTS. For that your company need to do a contract with that respect to data providers. Okay, this also will come like we will enable, they will use a SFTP method. Okay, we may use our process integrated systems, either 3PL or OpenText or different system. We will do a SFTP call and we will bring that files to our SAP GTS. Okay, this is how the communication works. And while we are connecting, I mean this is also one of the common interface where we will talk about how the communication should be established, and if communication fail, how you will able to validate that. We'll all gonna talk about it in the next 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to quickly show you. This is our SAP S4HANA system, means our FEDA system. I'm trying to go and create one sales order. Okay, this is my order type is GOR. Okay, and I'm gonna create one domestic example. I think no, let me go with export, which I have tested. Okay, I'm just giving one of the my material which I have tested. So I have creating one sales order with 10 quantities. Okay, so I just creating a sales order. When I try to save, you don't see any challenge. Okay, here,
This is
unless
S4
and
HANA system, right?
this is S4 HANA system, correct.
Okay.
And what now system is doing, it is going to the GTS system, it is bringing all the validations and coming back. If GTS says any issue, system will do a pop-up. I'm going to do a quick change. So in order to have that in place, sorry, shit. So I should be able to see E4H, and I didn't talk about much advantages and the difference between the GTS version because I think the time limit, but latest version is also offering a theory based, and in a nutshell way, SAP GTS is clearly now kind of a blacklisted all the transaction. Earlier we used to have one single transaction called area menu. With that we were able to perform all the activities. Okay, compliance activity, custom management, risk management, ECR, and all the activity. Now they have blacklisted all the transactions. They only now asking to use a theory. Only if you want to perform any kind of activity in the system, will only work with backend, which is GUI. But if not, we should be able to use only Fury. Okay, this is how the Fury appears. Okay, and you will be able to see the modules and all. I mean, I'm going to talk about the Fury later, how you can able to design your Fury in a better way. Okay, so maybe if you get a system, you may not be have this way. I will try to tell you how you can able to see. We have created on transaction, and I'm going to see whether the transaction appear here or not. Okay, I'm going to just display that. And if you remember the transaction which we just created, um,
Hey Kumar, one question here.
mhm,
So on the Fury screen
mhm,
in the GTS,
mhm.
you cannot do the configuration, right? It
We
just
no, we have to create a configuration.
oh, so configuration also from the Fury screen only?
No, no, no. I mean, okay. When you ask a configuration, configuration is still need to be done from the your GUI. Okay,
GUI, right?
yeah.
That's the
In a
question.
simple
Okay,
language, the business point of view, they will use only Fury.
okay, okay. For only transaction data and master data, that's it.
Any activity from the business point
Any.
of view, any
Okay.
activity controls and configuration, you have to be done by
F-
GA. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me quickly run through. Maybe I don't see much examples. Okay, this is the one of the example which I just created. If I go here and my system performed all the activities, I will show you how the system appears. Okay, and if you look at, I see all the activities like embargo check was performed, sanctions party check was performed, and legal control was also performed. What it does, okay, I will try to make some error and I will try to also show you how it works out. Okay, so what system does, system identified, okay, there is a partner called 290, and system check there is no partial embargo or there is no embargo, there is no issue with the country Germany. So the transaction is performing from US to Germany, and system performed, do I have any embargo to Germany? No. Then system made it green. That's why you don't see any error while you are creating a sales order from the FEDA system. I will also make some adjustment and try to show you how it works out. Okay, now you will see there is a sanctions party list screen. What system does, system identified all the partners, which is a 290, I mean single partner for all the all the partner functions, and system perform, do I have any sanctions party on this particular address? Okay, for example, this 290 is a address, and system perform all the activity and proposed. And the same way, and the system is saying that this particular product required additional license, which do I have this additional license or not? So system has identified this license and identify, okay, there is a license already available. That's one reason system could be able to identify and screened it. Now I'm going to do another quick example with different material. Let's use the same. Let's go to Excel and pick one of other material being used. Okay, and I think there is issue with the price. Manual price. This is one reason I always say, if any new person joining in the GTS, they should at least have a minimum basic understanding of the feeder system, so it's easy to solve your issue without much dependency of your S4HANA consultants. Okay, just check if any incompletions. No, just try to save it. Now while trying to save this transaction, I got a pop-up saying that SAP GTS compliance check rule blocked document. It says that embargo was released, means there is no issue with embargo. Sanctions party list screening was released, means there is no issue with the sanctions party, but legal control has a block, and it's saying the block reason is license determination is failed. Let's go into the GTS and see what it does meaning. Okay, so this is how our feeder system people will be able to see it. Okay, and if you look at, if I try to go back to this particular document, and if I try to create follow on activities, okay, system will not allow me to do further. It says that item is blocked by the legal control. Okay, let's go to GTS. And GTS now offered a very easy way manage block transaction. I mean, this is how your entire business will be, I mean, your GTS business will do, and day in day out operations. It, if you open this transaction, and the system will propose all the block transactions. And if you look at, this is my sales order, if you remember, 5978, and 597 is my reference document. It's saying the blocked, and if you look at, the block reason is EAR, means EAR is one of the legal regulation of our legal control. Okay, and what it is saying, there is no license maintained, license type determination is failed. I'm going to talk about in detail how the license determinations, how to set up the license determination and all. Okay, and for now I will quickly check what kind of a issue it has. Okay, then we'll try to maintain that. Let's legal control, and you would be able to see the maintain determination strategy. Let me also show you in the log, then you will be able to understand little easy. Okay, go back, manage documents, click here and click on the document log. You will be able to see what actually the real issue. Also you will be able to see here, system is saying the red because there's something is not, so this product is not fully classified under this legal regulation. So I mean, system will be able to show you all the errors. Okay, then one system is identify this. Let me first classify this, then I will show you how we can able to fix this for a second, then we will go in the details from the next meeting onwards.
So you have to classify this product in
Correct.
GTS system only.
Correct. So the classification is, I mean, I don't want to go in detail of the legal control. There's a two types of classification. One classification where it talks about ECCNs, and another classification where we talk about HS or tariff. So one classification two, in order to have what kind of a controls, what kind of additional attributes I need to have, or what kind of additional authorization I should have in order to do import these goods or export these goods. But if I want to perform a customs operations, I need to have a different classification where I need to classify my product with the right tariff code, because customs authority doesn't care about what your material number, what is your description. They only talks about what is your tariff number. It's a simple language, right? you call it maybe your product is ABCD, but ABCD other product may not be called it ABCD. So there is no uniqueness how the customs authority will recognize. So customs authority identified a certain codes, okay, which is a WTO, okay, where the WTO will be organized a set of codes, okay. We in each country people call differently. Some countries will use concept called commodity codes, okay, or some companies will call tariff codes, okay. Some countries will call schedule B codes, okay. Differently they can call. Some country also call CN codes, okay. So these all codes are almost common, which is predominantly talks about what is that product about. They, I mean, for example, you are selling a rice, okay, what type of rice is it? A premium rice. They don't care about your basmati rice and all, right? They will care about this is rice and what kind of a grains it is and how quality it is. Based on that they will provide a HS code like 8365, like something like some 6-digit code they will provide. And some company will use 10-digit code, some country use 11 digit, some country use 13 digit. Different uses will be there, but first 6 digit what gonna provided by the WTO. So the WTO decide, okay, this set of products belongs to this code. This set of products, I mean, you all know material groups, right? How your company is categorizing your material into the groups. WTO categorized entire products into the different types of groups. Okay, that group, it is nothing but your commodity code or HS code. This also we need to classify in order to perform your import and exports. But other codes what I was talking, in order to perform import goods or export goods, should I if I want to, why do you need this, right? I will give one simple example, right? You are making some kind of a sulfur, okay, or phosphorus, some kind of a where you can able to use this for your agricultural purpose, and the same sulfur and phosphorus can be used to make bombs or missiles, right? So if you are selling the sulfur and phosphorus in a thought that you are, they will only use for agriculture purpose, then fine. But if they don't use, so that's why each countries put a kind of a limitation to, they will ask, okay, to whom you are doing a business, okay, what type of product you will do business. So that we are saying to classifying, okay, means this product is kind of a controlled product, means I should not do a business without any approval from my customs authorities. When it is approved, they will be able to recognize, okay, when you are selling this product, they will say no, you should not sell this product to other countries. And okay, if you want to sell this product, you need to have a special approval from local customs authorities, because it's kind of a, they will monitor, they will keep scrutinize you what kind of activity you're doing. And once the sale or purchase happen with the end customer and end supplier, they will keep monitoring what is happening on that. Okay, so this process we call a classification. So classification is a two type. One comes into the customs area, one comes into the legal control area, which is under compliance. Okay, now I'm going to classify this product. Okay, we can do a classify with multiple apps, okay, but I almost predominantly use one simple app called manage master data, and I will simply go to master product master for now. Okay, and what is my product here in this case? This is my product, okay, and what is my fader system. And I will talk about these groups and all later. Just go here, okay, and scroll up, and legal control, and you see, right, there is a tab called classification also separate, and this classification will be used for customs purpose. This call used for our compliance purpose. Okay, here 99, okay, and I will talk about groupings and all. Okay, and unless you add this grouping, the color was red if you look at, okay, and I don't know how, I mean, you don't know how it happened, but there is a configuration for that, and we'll tell you why do you need to do such configurations. Okay, I just made the classification with the product. Let me go back block documents and try to rescreen that. That means that we made one system proposed one issue and we try to fix it. Okay, now try to recheck, means we are performing with based on a latest information available in the JTS. Okay, Now see, the document is disappear from here. There's no more block. The reason behind is, let's go back and display the all the documents. You will be able to see the latest document is this, and if you go back to here, log, it is also green. That's why it is cleared from our work list. So if you look at here, and system identify license, okay, once the product is being classified, system identify the license. I'm going to show you in the next meetings by having a different scenario. I will make sure that you understand what kind of a setup, why it is green now, why it was red, okay, in detail. Okay, because I just want to give you high level overview what kind of activity, how system perform, and it is only compliance module we were only talking about this point in time. Okay, compliance, as you discussed, embargo is talks about whether you should do a business with some countries or not, and sanctions party screening, it'll maybe predominantly work whether you should do a business with certain customers or countries or not. The third one is legal control, whether you should be able to do business to certain countries, whether you should have a additional license or not. Okay, and I will also show you one thing as we are here. For example, Dilip, I have a product, it doesn't really require any control. Okay, so what can be done? Okay, do we still need to SNA license? No, we don't need. If you have certain scenario, right, I mean, what we will recommend to business, there is SAP already providing a concept called no control. Means this product is not required any control, we know that. Okay, but it is not that you can decide it, because your customer will tell you whether this product is non-control product, because they know what kind of this product it is, whether it does it based on their local judicially, they will validate and they will come back, okay, go ahead, this product required additional licenses, then you will do a class, this classification information also you don't need to worry how the ER19 came into picture. Business has their own rules and regulation, and they will come back with these codes. Our work as a GTS consultant, when they do a classification, we should be able to make sure these codes are available, whatever code they are using today. Okay, and I will also talk about what kind, when you are going to go with the initial phase of project, what kind of a questions you need to ask, what kind of a activity need to be performed. Once you start business activity, business calls, what kind of questions you need to ask, how you need to prepare yourself. Once you start development, how you need to start your development. Once you start USAT, once you start cutover, what kind of activity you need to perform. At the go live, what you will do it, and post go live, what kind of activity you need to be performed in each and every area while we are talking in deep. Okay, and apart from all this, in order to work all this, what kind of a configuration need to be done. I think if you go back to my deck, we captured all those aspects, right? We talk about embargo and its type, SPL and its type, legal control and export and import, and classification. This is what I was talking about, ECCN. I will talk about what is ECCN and all later point in time. And we also talk about in customs management, import, export, and classification of the products, export. And we also talk about preference management, we'll also talk about ECR. Okay, and we will also talk about how the system communication between GTS, I mean, they mentioned S4, I mean, as I mentioned, it is, we can connect with multiple feeder system. Okay, whether it's a ERP or S4, any feeder system, how we can able to connect to GTS system. That's why, as I mentioned, it's RFC, so that's why we mentioned RFC setup, how the plugins, what master data should be transferred, what kind of a transaction data need to be transferred. We also talk about organization structure, document structure, partner, legal control, legal regulation, numbering schema, and lot many other aspects of it. Okay, and we also talks about in deep of embargo setup, all the control, how embargo should be set up, and what are the master data are required for embargo. Same way for SPL, what kind of a setup we need to perform, what kind of a control it need to be performed, how the master data should be available, where we will fetch the data, this data provided, when they provide the data, how we will be able to insert into the SAP, how the what subsequent activity need to be performed, how we want to integrate with third party, we'll also talk about it. And coming back to the legal control, the same, how the license master setup, how the control should be there, how many different legal regulation can be possible, and how we can ask whether business will provide those legal regulation or we will ask. So I will also talk about more detail there. Coming back to import export, the same, how, I mean, this is all the modules within the each services. And we will talk about how the communication setup, activity sequence, incompleteness, default data calculation, duty calculation, and how the printout should work, and how you should, I mean, I also talk about how the broker integration should work. Okay, how the OGS PGS should work. Okay, and also we'll talk about master data classification and trade preference. Okay, and how the what kind of, I mean, we will try to enhance to use one or two different example how the printout should be done. It's so interesting. Okay, then we'll end up with, I mean, we will go last but one is a preference model, how we can able to load, where we'll get this ROO file, what is this LTSG, LTVD, what kind of information required in order to perform the preference management, what kind of activity need to be performed. Okay, and we talked about this, and we talked about this, and we also talked about this, how the mapping, like we don't care how OTC works out, how global trade works. Okay, and we talked about this, and why do you need to have a global trade system, challenges. Okay, and as this all we talked, like we have a modernization, we have a country started business extensively, so automatically challenges are increased, where we need to have all the risk in order to avoid all the risks, to increase our business faster. And simple logic, right? If you are blocking your transact, you did not validate your customer, you send the goods to truck via border, and that time of a border they realize you are doing a business without any proper authorization. Okay, you don't have license, but you are selling goods to the outside country, then what will happen? Entire customs will block you, and they will put a huge fine, and they may also close your company also. Okay, and we seen that examples. Okay, in the world there's no way they can, whatever compliance you need to follow, whatever customs activity you need, that this will help you to fast track it. Like once your sales document, once your pro forma invoice gets created, we will be able to initiate our export declaration document, that will communicate your customs authority, and by that time truck reaches to customs authority border, and the customs authority by that time they will sign off all the customs activity, and it will be scrutinized at customs border, and they will send it to other country without any issues. Okay, and we also little talk about how the special custom procedure, not detail, but I think I will try to cover it up, how it works, and how, what kind of activity, what kind of projects we are currently dealing with it. Okay, so the same again, we try to document all those aspects of it. Yeah, it required its like one point I want to, one last point I want to say, how much we teach, it is 1 or 2% of training we can provide you. 98% you should prepare yourself and come up with a good questions, or you need to come up with more questions. That's how you will learn more, but we'll try to uh, articulate this entire training in a right way, so you will get in and out of FGTS. Okay, how the broker integration should work, what are the prerequisites, how the activity sequence should be defined, what is, I mean, you might have confused already. I was talking about legal regulation, I was talking about legal control, I was talking about legal unit, so multiple simple words, it is little confusing at this point in time. Once I will go one by one, you will be able to understand very easily. We'll go with one module, we'll explain, we'll show you positive example, we also show you negative example, what kind of issues will come, what kind of a background configuration is required, that also we're going to talk about it, what kind of a possible combination also it comes into the picture in the real life, that also we are going to talk about it. That's all from my side. If no other questions, over to you, Naveen.
Hey, one question, two
Yeah, go
questions
ahead.
actually for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
Uh, so, how about certification? I have not seen any certification for S4 HANA GTS.
Hmm.
So, do you know
Yep.
anything?
Uh, what is your second question? Maybe I think I will answer both
S-
together.
Oh, second question is about are you seeing any projects across the USA region about GTS? What is the job market and how demanding is this?
Sure. I will talk you
Yeah.
both. Okay.
Okay.
Coming back to certificate, SAP is not offering like what you have SDMM and all, but there is a one certificate. It is a kind of a free. You just go through that recording, kind of a training material by SAP GTS 200 we call. Okay. You just go through all the. It was very good document by SAP, and just go through that. At the end, they will issue in a certificate, free certificate. But if you call it is equivalent to your S4, if I ask you, does anybody nowadays asking about your S4 HANA certificate? I don't think, if you come to my interview and even if you say I have S4 HANA certificate, okay, keep it with you. At least
Mm,
from my point of view, I do a day in day out interview, but
correct.
it doesn't care. Early days, maybe some 10 years back or 8 years back, the certificate has its good weightage. Now I
Hmm.
don't say, but there is
Correct.
a certificate to answer your question. Okay,
Okay.
but
Thank
that
you.
is a free of charge, and maybe in the next connect or next meeting I will share some URLs where you can able to go through that, or you just type GTS 200, you will in Google you will able to get that certificate,
Okay. I got
that
you.
course.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep.
But if you go through, it will be very advantage for you to ask me as much as questions possible. I mean, you can
Hmm.
relate it. That is one.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Second, market, when you ask GTS, like I would definitely say huge demand. I myself required huge amount of resource. Okay, I don't want to call it my company name and all, but I
Okay.
myself required huge amount of. I will tell you the reason. Three reasons. Okay, first reason is SAP. How you have like S4 HANA, when people are they asking to SAP saying that they are gonna close ECC support, mainstream maintenance, means there is no more update come to our S4 HANA. The same way GTS also SAP said 2025 December 31st they fixed it, they are stopping mainstream maintenance for GTS 11. So they need to move to the latest version. If you say ECC, some people can still stay there. There is no
Mm-hmm.
harm. They can pay extra money to some support SAP, but where a GTS legal system, right, where it required a legal activity. So lot many legal changes are happening in and out. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you follow with E4H, SAP itself provide all the notes, all the upgrades, all the service packs, so automatically you will be stay up to the legal requirements, okay, legal norms, right? If not, you
Mm-hmm.
will be out of the market. Maybe you need to spend huge amount of money to meet that requirements, customized. This is one reason most of the company has to move to wherever they are currently in GTS, whatever version they need to upgrade to E4H. This is one reason you have a
Mm-hmm.
huge demand at the market. Second
Oh.
demand, there is a process called MACP, okay, which is driven by European Union. This agreement, what it saying that all the customs authority in the European market has to upgrade their system, stay up to the market, and they are also trying to come up with one single customs declaration. That means that one, if you create across in any European market, one single person can be able to authorize it. They are trying to bring control entire Europe in one single framework. Okay, that you may not get huge projects, but there is a called upgrades, like NCTS is upgrading to NCTS 4 to NCTS 5, and Atlas is upgrading now, is almost upgrade is done for most of the talent systems. Like latest Atlas is a German customs authority, okay, which is now is 10.2, sorry, 10.1. Earlier they were a 9, and ACE is upgraded from 2.9 to 3, and AZS, which is Netherlands system, is upgrading from AZS to what was the new system? I think I forgot the latest new system name, but they are also upgrading. Likewise, worldwide, I mean, at least entire European market, they're upgrading their system. With that, we also need to upgrade our activity. We need to perform. We need to communicate with them, because customs, right? If they upgrade something and we are not perform the similar activity as S4 side, I mean GTS side, it will be out of sync, and the customs other documents will not be screened. So this is the two major reasons GTS demand is very extensive nowadays. Next
Okay.
6 to 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say huge demand will be there.
Okay. Okay.
But
Even
as
across the North America side, North
they,
American client.
I mean, North America, most of the companies are now, SAP is trying to make it easy. Earlier, GTS customers are very limited, because they need to also perform huge amount of efforts in order to activate it. And
Correct.
you all know, even without GTS system also, there is a concept called international trade
Mm-hmm.
within S4 itself. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to perform a limited custom activity, just SAP is saying please use that
Mm-hmm.
without any additional charges. But it is not equivalent to GTS. It is a kind of a trap by SAP, to say that start with that, you will definitely get it benefited out. Then you move to GTS. It is a more, I mean, it's kind of a, they're making a flavor of it. Okay, like when the Uber, all these came into the Indian market, they gave coupons or referral bond, additional things, right? The same way SAP is also doing that with S4 HANA. There's a concept called international trade. I'm not going to talk about it because it is not so
Yeah,
extensive.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can talk 1 or 2, I mean maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but I'm not going to show you how it configuration works and all, because it
Oh
is
yeah,
not
no,
part
no,
of
no,
this curriculum.
no
Yeah,
problem, no problem.
yeah, yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that there are some enough projects in North America.
For sure. Okay, and if you are belongs to US, I mean preference, if you are kind of a good in the preference, the huge demand, because preference module is one of the key and complex module. It is not only required of a GTS knowledge, you also need to understand, stay up to your market, how the FTS are working, how, what kind of a work you need to do, how
Mm,
the configuration has to be amended, what SAP is coming up with, or what kind of activity, these all matters. Okay, it is
okay.
not that only GTS. That's why GTS people, I mean, even if you know little and if you're showing a good interest, then you will be shine like no matter. Okay, but as I mentioned earlier in my call, and it is my duty to tell you, whatever teach, how much I experience. Even if anybody is saying that I will teach you 100% training, you can work from tomorrow, that is fail, that will be fake. I can bet you, I can only say you 1 or 2% will teach you, the rest 98% your efforts. If you practice, come back with the next day with the good questions, then I can take it up from there. If you don't practice it, it will be very smooth while I'm teaching, but after that, if you go 2 days, after third day if you open system, you will, everything will be vanish out of your mind. Practice, practice, practice. How much you utilize your system, that's, I mean, that's how you will get sign. And if not, you will, I can't promise that you will be master after this training. I don't want to give you that kind of a false promise, but I will teach you because I have experience, and uh, and seen multiple combinations of projects, multiple combination of region people. So I know how GTS should, consultant should be prepared themselves. I know what I actually want in a nutshell as a manager, but how customers also looking as a consultant of GTS. Okay, so I will combine both into it and I will provide the training. Okay, but it is your responsibility or your task to get trained, I mean knowledge, and practice it, then ask me questions, then you will be able to shine with no time.
Yep. Good. Thank you, Kumar.
Thank you, Yogi.
Yep.
Anjana, I hope we gave kind of insight. Okay, because as I mentioned, you
Yes,
are new to SAP, so I need to talk to Naveen and team how we can able to plan, because there's a two things, right? When I'm talking with you, I may not able to talk little faster, because where Yogi able to follow may not be you will be able to follow. We need to see how we can able to plan that. But let me
yes,
talk to the experts of team, and maybe we'll plan accordingly. But make sure, I mean, if we are combining, we will make sure we'll go in a right speed, and it is our responsibility to stop us if you are not able to follow.
yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, that's all from my side. Naveen, I'm stopping my presentation. Over to you. Naveen or anyone from the export soft?
Yeah, I think no one is there. I'm dropping off, Kumar. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, Yogesh. I'll
Yeah.
call you. Okay, I'll communicate offline. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Naveen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Have a
Kumar.
good day.
Thanks for the demo.
And
Yeah. Thanks.
yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Yeah.
Hi all. Good morning. Do you hear me? Naveen, do you hear me?
Yeah, Kumar, I can able to hear you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Um, I think
Give me 2 minutes. I'm just checking with other participants. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Kumar, since he's traveling, Kumar, okay, you can start. Okay. Today, let's have smaller session. Okay.
Uh, the user ID saying user account not valid for S20, which is I think
One
GTS
second.
system.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
just checking. 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can provide the access meanwhile. Okay, Anjan, I mean, let's get started. Let's see for this access. I will wait for a while.
Yes.
Meanwhile, yeah, I think we were starting. I mean, we
Yeah,
are
Kumar, you
discussing.
can try now. Yeah.
Still, I'm getting the same error. Validity it is saying not in validity for P30, P23 also. Okay, I can see now GTS is up, but maybe you can fix for S4
Yeah, I'm
also.
getting done. 2 minutes. Huh?
Sure, sure. Okay, so let's get back to the work. So Anjan, I think for you is pretty new for SAP. Let me start a little background about SAP, then we'll come back to here. Okay. So uh, do you? I mean, the what is the main reason why companies will use SAP?
It's mainly for import and export between countries to country, like exchanging the goods between countries and managing through the applications for easy access from one place to another places.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not maybe not talking much on the GTS only, but I think overall SAP, why companies will use only SAP, not any other applications, because in market there's a
Mhm.
lot many other applications, right?
So because I think SAP contains different models within the within one applications we can access. Uh, different categories and also different models. But in other applications or in other technologies, there are only some specific related models will be available. So to access every available models or different categories within the same applications, most of the people will consider SAP.
Okay. Okay. I think you have a quite good amount of understanding. Okay. So we call like enterprise resource planning. Okay.
Yes,
So there is a concept called enterprise. I will talk about all these terminology
yes,
one by one. So in enterprise resource planning, there is a tools called SAP. There's a cool tools called Oracle. Okay, and so on. Okay. So I mean, why what is this ERP tool does? The ERP tool basically talks about, for example, you are a manufacturing company. Okay.
yes,
So when you are doing a manufacturing, okay, so what are the activities you need to perform? You need to first purchase a raw goods, right? You need to have a goods, raw material. So when it is a ERP, what are the things you will do? Raw product purchase. Okay. Then you will do a manufacturing. Then you will do a kind of a sale. And once the sale is executed, maybe you also need to create the logistics operations like transportation. Then you will need to collect the money from the customer or supplier, or you need to pay the money to the finance. Okay. And you also need to maintain your employees, right? Employees data, when they are coming, what kind of work they are having it, right? So
yes,
these all different set of activities need to be performed when you want to do any kind of a company. In a nutshell, right? In a high level, we need to have all these kind of operations. So when you create a, for example, let's start with you got an order from your customer saying that I want this product M1 and M1 product with 100 quantity at by this date. Okay, maybe I'm saying January 1st, 2025. Okay, to the place something like in maybe Delhi. Okay, India. Okay, I want this order to be happen. So first, what you will do in don't just ignore about all the ERP SAP. What the first activity will be executed? You need to check whether you have this M1 stock or not, right? Right? Whether you have this M1 product with you readily available in your plant or not, or in your warehouse or in your home. For example, you are selling your product from your home. Whether you want to have this product available in your warehouse or not, or your home. That is the first step, right? So what you will do if you are doing one order per day, you will go to that particular place and you will go check whether M1 product is available or not. Correct?
yes, sir.
And for example, your manufacturing in your plant is in Chennai, for example. Okay. Tamil Nadu, Chennai, you have your plant. So once you see your product available in M1, then today's date. Okay, for example, date is today is December. Okay, December 2nd, 2024. Okay, then what you will check whether from the Tamil Nadu, how do you deliver this product to this customer? Okay, so you if you're planning to sell through a road, for example, right? For to reach to road to Delhi, maybe it will take 10 days. Okay, then you would be able to reach to Delhi by 22nd 02 2024. Okay, maybe once you reach to Delhi of certain location, maybe some kind of a distribution place, then you will reach to customer maybe 2 additional days. Okay, then maybe you can reach back by your customer place by 2024 itself. Okay,
Yes.
but the customer want by next week, so it is fine. Okay, so this is the case when you have one product. In case the same situation, this M1 product does not even available under my plant, then what I need to do, I need to manufacture it, or I need to get it from someone else, because I at the end I need to purchase this product to my customer.
Yes.
Okay, so then how this manufacturing can happen? So I need to have a components. Okay, I should have components. Maybe my component will be B1, B2 and all. So how this B1, B2 can happen? I need to purchase this, or I need to, there's a two ways. Either I need to purchase these two components from some vendors, or I need to manufacturing those two also, right? For
Yes.
example, think that these two we are purchasing from uh, from uh, uh, take my Mumbai. Okay, and again it will take maybe 5 days. Okay, so once the product came back to our plant, which mean that today is 21st, maybe just think that in a high level 27th is the date. Sorry, today is second, maybe 7th is the by 7th I would receive these goods to my warehouse. Okay, then 5 days it's what it is taking. Then manufacturing is taking 5 days, maybe 70. Then it will be 12. Okay, again these 10 days plus 2 days, 12 days, what I need to know, what I should have in my place. Okay, 24th. Okay, and then I would be able to reach 12 plus 12, 24. Okay, I think that the previous date is wrong. This is second, so I will be able to reach by 12. So this is wrong. Then it is 40. Okay, so then I would reach 24th month, 24th, 2024. Okay, December 14th I would be able to reach. But whereas in the second case, I would be able to reach only at only I will able to reach by 24th. Think that I have a different scenario, and even this manufacturing is taking 50, maybe 20 days. Okay, and this is taking, then when it is 20 days, 7 means 27th. I will be only able to reach by 27th. Okay, math. I mean, don't consider here math, but what is happening? Just trying to understand. Okay,
Yes, sir.
again on 12 days, that means that I'm almost reaching to January, somewhere in the 12 plus 29, that 09. So but when my customer want this product, 09. So this all calculation has to happen if you have one single order, right?
Yes.
For suppose you are receiving daily 100 plus orders, you can't do all this manually one by one. So in the tool, in the way of ERP, what a system does, when you create a sales order, system internally validate by going to the area. Okay, material master, or some people called SCM. Okay, supply chain management, or procurement, P2P. So all this area, then a system will start checking out the material, what kind of a material it is, whether we are manufacturing or we are purchasing, or if it is we manufacturing, then what are the components. System immediately go whether that component is available with us or not. If the components are available, how much time it will take. So it will all perform automatically by integrating with multiple module. When it is order to sales order, we call OTC or SD. Okay, when the manufacturing, it will be MM or PP. PM or QM, or multiple different modules are involved. If you want to production planning or quality management, or you are manufacturing some product, then will come. If you want to have a material management and all the activities, and because we need to ship these goods, we need to have EWM, we need to get the finance, we need to finance module. Okay, we need to have this cost of this product, we need to have a CO. Okay, we need all these modules has to be. If you want to transport these goods, we need to have a TMS. Okay, automatically these all modules will be integrated in a one single bucket or one single bucket. With that, what will happen when you create a sales order, system will be able to perform all the integration with all other modules, and it will be able to tell you, okay, by when, okay, by 01st January 1st, the customer wanted at Delhi, but will be able to deliver these goods. If not, there is a lot many different stories how the system will behave, but the system will be able to calculate all those things, and it will come back to a result saying that by this date I can able to provide. Okay, once the sale is happened, okay, finance, automatically the communication will go to the finance to collect the payments. Okay, and once the payment is done, maybe there is another module called HR. Okay, how many employees were involved in these activities. Okay,
Yes.
and how I can able to decide this M1 product cost. Okay, cost of this product M1, how I can decide? I need to see what are the raw components I'm using it, and I also need to look at what are the components cost and manufacturing efforts and transport cost and advertisement cost, and maybe some other branding cost. Okay, so on so forth, right? Because we want to consider all these values, and maybe we also need to have a profits, right? Or because we are not doing business for no reason, right? We want to have some profits. Maybe for example, manufacturing cost, so 10 rupees. Okay, and manufacturing component cost is 10 rupees, manufacturing cost also 10 rupees, transportation 5 rupees, advertisements 1 rupee. Okay, branding 1 rupee, maybe profit some 5 rupees, maybe take 3 rupees. So we can say minimum to minimum I need to purchase this product from 30 rupees. And how system can be able to do components, the material module will come into picture, and it will tell you what are the components used. Manufacturing, either PM, PP, QM, some of the module will help you out. And transportation cost, maybe TMS will tell you which trucks are using, what kind of a methods we are using to transport. And HR and all this branding, and maybe with all of this, finance team will be able to decide what should be the my product cost. I should be able to see my product cost is 10 rupees, and I can able to sell this product minimum of 30 rupees. So now based on the distance agreement with my customer, I will be able to decide. Maybe I will say I will sell this product with the customer with 50 rupees. Okay, because he is a one time customer. Maybe there is a customer who is very much frequently purchasing from me. Maybe I will use only 30 rupees, or maybe only 40 rupees. So these all will be integrated in one single bucket. With that, the integration happens very quickly, and you no need to do again feed this data into the another system, calculate it, perform some calculation. It is not required. This is one reason SAP in the market was too much involved in the kind of a heavy manufacturing companies, or heavy wherever the manufacturing or wherever the activities are happening very extensively. Most of the companies will prefer to go to SAP. I think if you are looking at all these activities, we didn't talk about anything about our the core module of a GTS.
Yes.
So I think you already we discussed, but I will try to recap a little bit why how it is coming in picture. Because when the local business is happening, you no need to worry much. Okay, but even in India, if you want to sell a product from one state to another state, there is some rules within the state also. Likewise, if you are you are receiving a order from the Delhi, okay, you don't know whether this customer who is purchasing the product from you is a right customer or is a terrorist customer, or what activity is going to perform, you don't know, even within the one country. Imagine that if the customer itself not belongs to your country, he is coming from somewhere else, you don't even know which country he belongs to. I mean, that country you never even heard till before. How do you know whether this customer is a genuine customer? Are you? How do you believe that? So this is all challenges. Okay. So when you are doing a international transaction, you should follow the rules of a global trade. Okay, means when you are exporting a goods to some other country, or when you are importing a goods from other country, this we call a trading. Okay, and when you are doing a globally, means worldwide, then the system we call that process we call a global trade. When you are doing a process, when you are exporting a goods, when you are selling a goods to international country, means other than your country, means you are selling your manufacturing country in India, maybe you are selling to US. This process we call export. Okay, the same way if you are selling, if you are manufacturing company in India and you are purchasing a goods from China, any country other than India, we also call import. Because what kind of a direction we are doing, based on that the process we deviate. Okay, if it's export or import, the both the cases we need to make sure to follow, because this is a other country than India, then we call a global, I mean, trade, and we are doing this activity globally with the multiple countries. Okay, so we call global trade. So SAP, like global trade, also one of the key aspect nowadays. The reason behind is the transactions at global level. Maybe you are doing business only till there, domestically. Okay, domestic means when you are doing a business within the same country, we call domestic.
Yes.
Okay, means when you are purchasing or say doing a sale, anything we call domestic. So in that case, it is kind of a okay in some countries or some places, but even within the domestic also we need to perform certain rules and regulations. Okay, in order to do a trade between two different states also, some countries will not even accept that. Okay, so when you are doing a domestic transaction, maybe you have a company, you are still till maybe last year you are only doing a domestic transaction, means you are only purchasing goods from the your own country and you are selling to own country only. But because your product is so famous now and you want to sell this product internationally, maybe you are receiving a customers from Dubai, from India, from US, different countries, you are receiving orders. So when you are doing and you are receiving such an orders, what we call, if you are receiving a request from the customer, we will call export process. And when you are receiving, when you are purchasing goods from, because you want to use a product maybe from the China, you want to purchase product from the South Africa, all those countries, then you also need to use imports. So when you are doing such an activity, you need to follow global trade rules, and you need to have a tool, because you already using SAP GTS. So SAP is also offering a tool called SAP Global Trade System, which is we call GTS. Other
Yes.
modules also have their own tools, but as you already integrated, because we are using, one of the main reason to use SAP is the integration between other modules. So that's why SAP also brought this module. Okay, along with SD module, MM module, TMS, EWM or EWM, okay, and PP, QM, finance, people will call FICO, okay, and these are the modules. Along with that, I mean, there's a lot many other modules, but I think these are the some of the core modules, I would say. Okay, so along with this also integrated. But when I say integrated, does the does this means only within a one single instance or one single box or one single place a placeholder? No, maybe SAP also gave a flexibility to have a separate maybe when you want to perform MMSD and all in one URL, for example, or one box. Okay, but when you want to use a GTS, maybe they want to use a separate one. I'll talk about why we are using that, but I think this also SAP giving a flexibility. The reason behind this, maybe if you perform every transaction in only single box, right? For example, today you are using SAP application, right? Maybe as I mentioned, you are using another ERP, right? Other ERP tool. But SAP also gave a flexibility that you can integrate with GTS in order to perform all your trade activities with single GTS system. You can connect SAP with GTS. You can connect non-SAP, non-ERP system also with GTS system. Maybe other ERP, sorry. SAP is one ERP tool. And if I want to connect with other ERP tools also, I can able to connect with my single GTS instance. That's why this is one reason. Okay. The second reason why SAP went with the GTS with separate box or URL, I mean, what I was talking, right? If you look at here itself, right? Our training servers also, SAP GTS is separate and SAP S4 HANA is separate, where you will perform all your SD, MMTM, all those activity in your this box, and whereas all the GTS activity will be here.
Okay.
Okay. The reason behind is SAP GTS, I can able to connect, I can able to perform global trade validations by using multiple sources. That means I can reuse the same system by, maybe I have SAP, okay, for maybe large scale manufacturing activities. Maybe I'm using Oracle, maybe I'm using JD Edwards, maybe I'm using different ERP tools in order to perform global trade. I can still use the same SAP GTS system. This is one major reason why SAP is separating this GTS in different box. The second reason is, if you perform all the activity within SAP, the performance issue can also occur. This is one reason. This is one of the reason SAP also bring this into the separate box. Okay, this is the, I mean, the first reason is almost, if I say 99%, the second reason will be 1% reasons, where SAP don't want to combine all this activity within, because it doesn't really required within the same system, because SAP, as I mentioned, SAP can integrate, right? Because if we want to integrate, I should be able to do real time, right? When I create a sales order, if I enter all the values, click enter, the system should be able to perform. So if Dilip, you are saying, if Kumar, you are saying that, or Anjan, you are saying that the SAP or GTS is a separate box. How the integration will happen? The integration will only happen if it is in the same box, that quickly. But if it is in other box also, if the system is able to communicate that quickly by using a method called RFC. Okay, a remote function call. By using this RFC method, SAP can able to integrate other activity very quickly. Are you able to follow, Anjan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so SAP using this method, I mean, RFC is remote function call. Remote function call will have a backend program. With this program, when I create a sales order or when I create a purchase order, when I do any activity, it can able to call other system very quickly.
Sir,
This
okay.
is one method. Okay, because if RFC is will be only able to help if this is SAP to another SAP system. But as I also mentioned, GTS can be able to connect with other ERP systems. They may not be the SAP system. So RFC will not be able to work. So then we need to have other middlewares like web services, HTTPS. Okay. And some other process integration tools may required in order to connect.
Yes.
Are you able to follow till here?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so now we are able to talk about the integration between our SAP systems of SDMM, all those modules with our GTS. And if you remember, GTS is the system of to perform the activities or controls of a global trade, right? And the global trade system does not hold any data, I mean data its own, right? Because sales orders, everything will be created here, and the GTS operation will happen here, and material master related purchase orders all will be get created here and will perform a global trade activity. That mean that that's why some of the customer will call global trade system is a kind of a slave system for our other ERP tools which is they're using in their market, because all the data, all the instructions will come from here, and the real activity, the validation or checks will perform here and go back to the S4 system. When you are performing some services to some other person, you are kind of an employee or you are kind of a slave to the system. That's why people generally call these all systems called feeder system, because they are feeding the data. Okay, and GTS system people will call slave system, or I mean, uh, when you want to call slave, it is not so interesting or so good to it's not feel good, right? So that's why people stop using this way. So people started using only GTS system. No need to talk about all the slave activity because we are performing, and people start using this feeder system, like they are feeding the data. We are helping for them, but they are the feeding the data. So people started calling this is a feeder system, this is GTS system itself. There is no one. Now people are, if you say that GTS is a slave system, yes, but nobody is calling that way.
Yes. Yes. But
Clear?
yes.
Now coming back, what GTS, right? We were now talking about how SAP is what is the advantage of SAP and where SAP coming from, and what is the advantages by using SAP as a single component to our supply chain or our manufacturing company, and what type of a business within the market, and how the integration between SAP and our GTS systems. Okay, and SAP also has a multiple versions. Okay, and we're not going to talk about much, but I think we're going to talk about a few items. Okay, we call R2. SAP also has a kind of evaluation, means SAP when the product was launched somewhere in the 30 years around, so they came up with version called R2. Okay, then slowly they converted to R3, means like you have a phone, and initially we have Android version. The versions keep increasing, means the features, number of features,
Mhm.
optimization, user interaction, the way it's behave. Okay, it is increased, right? The same way SAP also evaluate their product by adding some of the component. And if you look at R2, it may not have this much integration, these many options, okay, and all. R3 has some more, I mean, it is also not a more user friendly. You need to enter all the instruction with some different language. Okay, then system used to calculate all. But whereas when it comes to R3, the communication and user interaction is very easy. Then SAP also brought a concept called ERP. Okay,
Yes.
then now we are using a latest version called S4 HANA. Okay, so how SAP is also evaluating the feeder system versions. SAP also evaluating our GTS version. Okay, within SAP, first GTS came with 2, 3, then the most predominantly used versions are 7. Okay, then it went with 8, then 8.1. Okay, then 10, then 11. Till here, I mean, most like how SAP ERP is processing, the same way GTS also evaluating their versions. Okay, the same way how we have S4 HANA from the S4 side. Okay, we also have the similar version with GTS E4H. We call edition for HANA. Okay, this is all about. I will try to bring a screen. I mean, one example how these versions are, how these GTS systems are flowing. I mean, with at what stage S4 HANA came and what stage GTS came in and all. I will gonna show you later. But I think this is the basic understanding what you need to know. Like same way how SAP evaluating from the past 30 years in the SAP, and the same way from past 20 years GTS also evaluating. We are reaching at the stage of GTS edition for HANA. Means if you look at SAP GTS 8.0, where I have started at least, okay, I never worked on previous version, but this is my first version where I was started my career GTS. Here you don't have these many options. Even we have these many options, the performance when I create my sales order, it it has not these many pop-up. Like if you remember that while I try to create a sales order, if I have a block, I used to see a pop-up with, okay, these are all the information. With GTS 8 you don't have that much capabilities, and now you can able to perform lot many activities. You can run through 100 different sales order at one go and still GTS able to support. At 8 it was not that case. It was, there was a huge latency. It used to take huge amount of time to get the processing, to save the sales order. At the same time S4 side also it's kind of a lower version only. It was a ERP. Okay, ERP is connected with GTS 8. This is these are my versions where I started. Okay, ERP also has not that extensively featured. You don't have a concept called Fury. Okay, you need to log into your GTS system only. So what is happening is over the period of time, because the trends are increasing now. Earlier, if you remember, if you want to perform some money transfer to your friend or someone, what you used to do? You used to go to bank, you used to deposit a money, then the other person you will use to send a communication through a phone, or if you have a, that rich, or if not you used to send a inland letter saying that I have sent this money here, or you used to courier do a postal service that used to do courier saying that this money please hand out to, I mean after 10 days 20 days, or based on the postal service and all used to happen. Then what happened? Banks came into picture. We used to deposit in the bank. You used to communicate to other person, I have deposited this money, you can withdraw. Nowadays if you want the money, you can perform, open your app, communicate via Google Pay or any apps like mobile banking apps. Even banking is also offering very quick transfer. The way it is evolved in other market, SAP also has to evolve. That's why they are keep coming up with multiple features.
Yes.
Any question till here? I mean, it is all theory. I'm not still going to the SAP, but yes, this all is needed, because while we are talking on the further concept, we may need to link back to all these concepts.
Yes, sir. Yes. Good, sir. Everything.
Perfect. Then coming back, right? When we are saying about now we'll go back to our SAP GTS, what we want to talk about. And as we mentioned, when you want to perform international transactions or globally, we need to have this GTS as a tool. Okay, this GTS tool offers majorly three services, three major. Okay, one is compliance service, second is custom service, third is preference service. Okay, or maybe I will just stay back for risk. These are the majorly happening, most likely used, and we also have ECR, electronic complaint report. I am not going to talk immediately now, but let's hold this. I mean, these are the three main services which most of the customers are using for the GTS, and ECR also one of the service. But I think this is there is a reason that this ECR also available in S4 HANA and GTS. The both the systems we have the CCR option, the service. Why are we saying the services? What is the services talks about? As I mentioned, GTS perform activities for the FADA system transactions, right? When the sales order gets created, we will perform all our screenings, like whether the particular sales order supposed to uh, uh, proceed further, means sales order gets created, then next activity can be performed or not. That all controls will be with GTS. Okay, to do that, I will quickly recap the flow of sale, the flow of purchase. Okay, little more detail. Okay, I want your help to, for example, I created a sales order. Okay, for that, what are the information I would generally have? I should know who is my customer, to whom I am selling this product, right?
Sir.
I should know material, know from which place I am selling this product. Okay, think
Yes.
and quantity, for example. These are the majorly 3 to 4 items, and the last but not least is the dates, like by when I should be able to deliver this, right? These are the information I should have in order to create my sales order. Any tool, take, if you don't even consider your SAP or use Oracle or JD Edwards or some other some other non SAP tools also, you should minimum to minimum have these information, right? You need to know who is your customer, who is purchasing from you this product, and what kind of a product they are purchasing, from where this sale is happening from, what
Mhm.
is the quantity and what are the dates.
Yes. Got it.
Once sales order is created in SAP, at least, right, we will create outbound delivery. And do you know why? I mean, as you mentioned, you're not much into the SAP, but we created a sales order where you will be able to see all the information. Then why do you need to create one more transaction called delivery? Any idea?
Sir, no idea.
Okay, perfect. So you created a sales order with 100 units. Okay, and the delivery date, as we used already, example 01/01/2025. Okay, but at the time of my manufacturing and all the process, I cannot deliver 100 product. I agreed with my customer, I can deliver 10 this week. Okay, which is
Mhm.
of 01/01/2024, and maybe another 90 I will be able to deliver by 10. Okay, 01/10/2024 means after 10 days I will be able to deliver. This is my schedule, what I communicated with my customer.
Mhm.
But if I keep these two, okay, we call schedule lines. Okay, keep that mind. Okay, I will not directly teach you sales, but I think while we are talking about all this, we'll talk about sales and try to introduce some of the words. Try to understand. Ask me if you have any question. When you receive a sales order with 100 quantity, based on my availability of the product, based on my customer agreement, I have said this entire order into two different pieces. First delivery will be happening in 10, and second delivery will gonna happen to you on 10th, 10th with 90 quantity. This we call a schedule lines in my sales order.
Oh,
Okay, but with the same single sales order, how I can able to do this activity? Said 10 I will gonna deliver by 1st of January, and 90 I want to go in a 90 another period. This is one reason why I need another document. Second reason is major reason, basically I need to pick, right? I need to pick, I need to pack, I need to keep it in my truck, I need to deliver this product to my customer. Need to have some kind of a reference number, right? So when I'm starting with 10 quantity for today, right, I should have the same, the information I will gonna copy it here. But here, if you look at, I will gonna copy only 10 quantity to my delivery one. So I will create another delivery for month period. Okay, this may be my first delivery.
Mhm.
With that, when I create a say delivery 1, I will be able to only see 10 quantity. Means I will instruct my picking team that please pick only 10 to this customer. When the 10th delivery coming in picture, then I will only communicate to 10. In order to perform all the picking, packing, transport related, all the activities, one additional reference document is needed. That is one major reason we are also using a different document number apart from the sales order. Then we, for example, Kumar, you said sales order gets created. In order to pick pack activity, you said we will gonna use a concept called delivery. Then you also mentioned performed picking, I mean sub activity within the delivery. Okay,
Mhm.
I will just try to write it here: picking, packing, and another last step is post goods issue. Means we are issuing a goods to outside. Means we are asking truck to leave from our plant. Okay, means the truck is started to the customer's place. In SAP way, once the truck is left from our place itself, we will consider it is delivered. It went out from our plant. Okay, then we will create another document called invoice. Dilip, sorry, Anjan,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned you created a sales order for
Mhm.
to track the orders, and you created outbound deliveries in order to pack. Then why do I need another document, invoice? Here we are only talking about who is a customer, what is the quantities, when they want to deliver, and all. Here we are talking about how the delivery should happen, how the
Mhm.
picking packing should happen, how when it should perform the PGI. What does it mean when the 0101? It is the date where the customer should receive the goods, right? And there will be lot many other dates will also involve within the period by when you should be able to send your truck outside from your warehouse. Means within the same city, maybe you will only send on January 1st only. But if you are thinking that, as I mentioned the example, you are from Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and you want to reach your goods to Delhi, at least via road, at least you will plan 5 days early. All those dates also will be holded within the delivery dates. Okay, and invoice, why do I need to invoice? Like, basically this invoice is a document basically for the payment purposes, right? Because I don't care when I deliver and all those aspects, it is a matter, but the predominantly how much cost I am selling this product to this customer X. What kind of a transport methodology we used? We also called a concept called Incoterm. Okay, Incoterm means whether when the goods are being picked by the customer, means we just sold our product at our plant itself. Means the customer itself came with his truck and purchased all the product. Because simple logic, right? When you want to purchase some goods, either you will go to the shop or you will order through online. That means, let me tell you the example, right? When you want to purchase a shoe, what
Mhm.
method you will use? Either you will open one of the e-commerce app like Amazon, Flipkart, or some of the app, or you will go to shopping mall and you will purchase. These are the
Yes.
two methods, right? Major methods.
Yes.
So when you go to the shop, right, what kind of a method? Will he come and deliver to you at home? No, right? You need to select your product, pick your product, and bring it to your home after payment, right?
Yes.
Whereas when it is through e-commerce app, think that you didn't pay the money, you purchased, and the app itself will come to your home and deliver the product. Then they will collect the money from you. Correct?
Sir. Yes.
So they, I mean, how are we? Because if you are selling the same, I mean, if you are purchasing the same product via shop and this app will not be the same, right? They will definitely include the transport charges, the delivery charges, and all.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, don't say that Dilip or Kumar or Anjan, I will use a different method. Okay, I will use a coupon, so I will get a less price. I'm not talking about a price. The way the delivery is happening or the business is happening. Okay,
Yes, yes,
whether in a way that I'm using at my doorstep, I'm just delivering the goods to customer at my doorstep, or I'm going to customer place and delivering it. That is a key in order to issue the invoice copy. And another way is payment term. There's keep, I mean, I'm talking about multiple terms, trying to introduce all these terms. Okay, the reason behind is these all is needed in the GTS. Okay, as I
yes,
mentioned, my predominantly focus or goal to support your GTS. Okay, but by that time we also need to know all these words, right? What is a payment term? Whether you are pay, because if you are a one-time customer, if you go to the shopping, okay, shopping mall, what you will do, you will pay before you come out from your mall, right?
yes,
But think that there is a grocery shop next to your home where you are purchasing from the years. You know him, so what you will do? Okay, kaka, I will pay you tomorrow, or just make a note, end of the month I will pay you, right? Or make a note, I will pay you end of the every 2 months, or I will pay you end of the week, right?
yes,
There's a different processes of paying the goods to, I mean, amount to the customer or company. In this case, our shop next to, I mean, the person next to our home. Okay, so why these are the important? Because we need to mention all the information in the invoice, right? When you are receiving your goods or a slip, you should be able to document all this, which we don't care about the previous documents. But here it is a matters like how the payment should happen and what kind of a incoterm we call. Incoterm, I mean, I will repeat, incoterm is a term to tell you like what kind of a delivery we are doing it, like whether we are doing our product at our place, means our company place itself, or we are going to deliver the goods to the customer. I mean, I will try to document something here, some of the commonly used incoterms. Okay, one is xworks, fca, fob, ddp, dpa. Okay, ddp, and yeah, these are the commonly used incoterm. I will try to explain one of each. Okay, exworks incoterm means when my invoice holding a incoterm of exworks, that mean that I am paying, I am just handovering, picking, packing, and just handovering the goods to the customer at my warehouse only. Means I will just go to my gate and okay, here your product, please go, take the product and go. That mean that the whole transportation activity. Okay, because for example, customer is here, sorry, company is here. Okay, for example, customer is here, so you need to travel all the way here. Maybe with a domestic customer, even he need to at least hire a truck. Okay, or something you need to hire. If it's international, then you need to have first go to your respective customs office. Maybe it may be reached to port. Okay, airport. Okay, maybe you want to send the goods to you need to send the goods from one your company place to your airport location, and airport location to your flight. Okay, again, once the flight reach to the target country, then again you need to reach to customer place via some what call, maybe truck. Okay, think this is a truck, this is again we need a truck. So these all expenses will be taken care by whom? The customer. The customer is whole and sole responsibility to make this transport activity. When you are doing international transaction, one of the major challenges, it can be damaged, it can be robbed, anything can happen. So most of the companies will recommend to use insurance.
mhm,
So insurance cost also should be taken care by customer. Okay. And when you are doing international, right, you also need to pay some customs duties. Okay, all those things will be taken care by customer when you are using the concept called EX works. Sorry, EX works.
Mhm. Yes. Okay.
When you're using Incoterm EX works, means you don't worry about it. Everything will be holded by customer. And other one completely DDP. When I say DDP Incoterm, I I means a company is responsible to hold complete activities by us. We need to go to the, we need to pay all the trucks, flight charges, insurance, custom duty, and all the values. Custom duty means I think if you remember, if you want to purchase a goods as point of a customer, this customer country need to pay some duty amount to the that respective country. This also I need to pay. So simple logic, right? When I'm using AX works for the same material M, maybe I am only charging 100 euro.
Mhm.
Okay, $100. Okay, maybe when I use DDP, will I use only 100? Definitely not, right? Maybe I may need to use euro. So the Incoterm is very much key.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is one reason we need to hold invoice. And the second term is a payment term. What payment term does, as I mentioned, am I going to pay I'm a customer and company, you are the company, for example. I need to pay this payment of the transaction on every month. Means I am going to pay once you deliver the goods, I will pay after 30 days. Or I should pay immediately.
Mhm. Yes.
Should I
Got it.
pay maybe 90 days? Should I pay within 60 days? How I am going to pay the amount back to you is talks about payment terms.
Got it.
Okay, and this is also not a key, but the major key is, for example, international. When it comes to international, I'm sending goods from India to US, right? This India to US may require a different types of taxes. I need to, if I want to sell this product, I need to have a different tax I need to pay. Whereas if I, from the invoicing point of view, and the
Mhm.
same information also required, like whether what kind of, whether I should be able to purchase or not, or whether I should be able to sell or not, all this will be handled with GTS. But these all information based on whether we should be able to use international tax, domestic tax, and all will be able to, whether the tax is applicable, whether I have some rebate is available, all those will be able to handle. Means overall how much I am going to price. Okay, basically 100 euros is my price. Okay, transportation charges is 10. Okay, and so net price is 110 euro. Okay, and freight is 20. Maybe think this is freight is 20. Then I will be able to say the net price of this sale is 130. Maybe on this 130, maybe I have a tax of 10%, so it will be 13. So it will be 143 is my transactional value. So these 13 euros, whatever I'm getting for my customer, this going to my company, my country. But I still need to able to collect this information. In order to get this information, we need to know what is the source, what is the target country. These all information is available in the invoice, which is one reason we need to have a separate transaction. Because see, each document required, it has its own features, right? Sales order will hold by when it should be able to, how to split and all will be able to holding it. Delivery has its own functionality. It will perform picking, packing activities, and it will able to differentiate uh, different parameters. The same way invoicing. So if you look at from the whole flow, what are the activities GTS is needed? What are the what are the transactions being communicated to the GTS?
Yes.
What are the GTS activity? So when you create a sales order, you should definitely perform your compliance screening. I'm not going to talk about in depth of compliance and customs or anything, but we need to perform compliance screening. We need to perform compliance screening on this. We need to perform customs activities. So as I mentioned, we need to have all this information in our S4 HANA system itself, because these transactions are available in S4 HANA. We are not even reached to GTS. That's why SAP is offering some kind of a controls, okay, in SAP S4 HANA itself, okay, in order to work GTS. So I mean, it is new for you. In anything you want to configure in SAP, there is one transaction called SPRO. Okay. People used to use this transaction to configure anything. Means to make your system ready to work. I mean, kind of a setting how you will be able to, you might have seen a option like settings in your phone, right? Similar way, SAP has SPRO is a one transaction we call, or we people also call T code. Okay, T code or transaction is SPRO. When you go to SPRO, so within this SPRO, we will be able to do configuration or settings for each module. If you look at here, right, these are all the settings for your sales and distribution, SD. Okay, these are all settings for QM. These are all settings for logistics. These are all settings for MM. If you look at what our module we were talked about, all the module related configurations are available here. If you look at here somewhere, financial also will be available. Yeah, financial accounting, financial supply chain management, and different modules. And one important aspect what you need to know is, as I mentioned, we are not part of the same box. GTS is not part of the same. We need to have another integration, right? So SAP brought our settings under integration with other components, SAP Global Trade. So here is the configuration setting, how we can able to communicate our process from S4 HANA when the transaction being created, how S4 HANA should perform activities. That mean that whatever we just talked about. For example, this is one of the configuration control setting. I'm going to go again, but just trying to tell you, okay,
Yes.
sales and distribution, our sales order. If you look at here, the system is saying compliance is activated, risk management is activated. Means when you create a sales order, here itself you can able to define this sales order type, whatever sales order type we are using is relevant for compliance activity. Means if you look at, right, I can't do customs activity using sales order. If you remember customs activity, what are the customs activity? If I want to declare export declaration or import declaration, I can't use sales order. The reason behind I can't use a sales order, SAP did not provide option, is I don't know what is the real quantity I'm shipping it to the customer, right?
Yes.
Sales order is only kind of what customer wanted, but only delivery is what we are delivering to the customer. Our invoice also will have the similar quantity, similar lines. I mean, whatever quantity you are delivering, the same way invoicing also will happen. So, which is one reason, if you look at SAP itself did not even offer anything for the customs management. System is only offering either it is activated for compliance or risk. I mean, system will we still calling a risk, but you should treat that as a preference management. In E4H, this is one of the change. They completely removed the risk management and they only kept preference management. Okay.
Yes.
So what does it mean when you create a sales order? System will only perform if I don't tick this. Okay, if I remove this tick mark and save it, so system will not even perform any complaint screening. So that control is holding within our S4 HANA system itself. Because if you keep these configuration settings in GTS, right, even the particular document type is not required to perform screening, the RFC call should happen. This RFC call should happen and reach to GTS, identify whether it is relevant or not. It is without even going there, without even required to go there, but we need to travel across the system. Will it's take own time to reach to the GTS, come back, whether no, there is no relevancy of GTS. That will be not a right way. Our performance may increase. For example, you are creating one sales order is okay. If you are creating hundreds of sales order by hundreds of customers across your plans, then it will take its own time. So that's why SAP brought these control settings into S4 HANA itself. These control settings will be tell you whether this particular sales order relevant for certain activities or not. If we go back to one step back, and if you remember, I was talking about outbound delivery, right? If you go to outbound delivery, you will be, I mean, we haven't configured anything, but you will be able to see compliance screening, custom screening, risk management. Means by using a delivery document, we can able to perform compliance screening, customs activities, and preference related activities. Clear? I'm going to
Yes.
talk about each and every field. Don't worry, that is very much important, but we are going to talk about it. And SD0C, we can, if you go here, if you look at, I don't have any option to perform a compliance activities. I can only do a customs management and risk management. Why? The reason behind is, if you remember what compliance activity, compliance is a must and should followed activities. And when you are saying a compliance activity, must and should activity, when we should perform before we deliver the goods to the customer, not after we deliver the goods to the customer. Correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
See, you already delivered the goods to customer. Then what is the point of checking whether he is a genuine customer? Means I will go back to the SPL. If you remember, SPL has a three different set of modules. One is embargo. Sorry, one is SPL. Second one is embargo. Third one is legal control. These are the three sub-modules within this service of compliance. Under this, I can say these modules and these services, sub-services.
Yes.
So without, by delivering the goods already the customer, I told you, right? Once we deliver the goods only, we'll generally generate the invoice. Once the goods, once truck is out from our plant, we issued the invoice. This is what is the point of performing a compliance check? There is no point. That's why SAP did not even offer that feature. Okay, and
Yes.
it can be only possible, I can use this invoice document for customs management, which is export import declaration process, or preference management.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, if you observe one thing out of the screen, which I didn't talk about it, there is applications they're calling. Each application, one is for sales order. If you remember, SD0 is application. And outbound delivery, SD0B, because the module is SD. First process we call 0A. Second process we call 0B. Third process we are calling 0C. That's how you can able to remember. If I ask a question, can you help me? What are the application area being used to screen our sales orders? It will be SD0A.
Yes. Okay.
What is the application area being used for delivery activities? SD0B. And what is the application area used for billing? Or billing people will call, or we will also call invoice. Which application area? SD0C. Means any settings related to invoice should be handled here from S4 HANA point of view, or feeder system point of view. This is remains same even if you go to GTS older versions. Okay, but some features were increased when it is comes to E4H. I'm going to talk about that when we are coming into detailed discussion. The same way, if you remember, there is another concept called MM0A. As I mentioned, If you remember the other day, we were talking about sales order, delivery, picking, packing, invoice, right? From for the sale point of view, if you go to the purchasing point of view, what is the order? PO we call purchase order. Okay, inbound delivery. Okay, then post goods receipt. We'll talk about Miro, but it is not so much relevant for us. I'm not going to talk about it. So these are the three activities again. What is going to happen? Purchase, same like how you have a sales order, purchase order also will have a similar screens where it required vendor and it required product, or which we also call material. Okay, then plant, to which plant you want to bring this product, quantities and dates. Same way, as I mentioned, the inbound delivery also, we asked our supplier, can you deliver 1000 product or 100 product? He can also tell you that no, I can't deliver 100 products at one go. I will only able to deliver 50 products one day and another 50 on another day, which is one reason we need a delivery document, inbound delivery. Because if you look at outbound delivery, because we are sending out, to easy way to remember is outbound delivery, we are sending out, it is coming inside purchasing point of view, which is the reason we call inbound delivery. Or the same way, PCI means post goods issue, we are issuing the goods, and here we are receiving it, post goods receipt, we are receiving the goods. Okay, so sales order, what is the application area we are using? We just talked
Yes.
about.
Yes.
What was the application area we are using for
Yes.
sales order?
ST0A.
Perfect. Delivery?
ST0B.
Perfect. Invoice?
ST0C.
Perfect. You are now clear. The same way, if you go to which module I said, it is people, it's a
PP.
purchase activity, right? This all will happen in
Yes.
So they simply, instead of SD, 0A for PO, 0B for inbound delivery. In case of a purchase, invoice is not so key. The receipt itself a key for us. Okay, I mean, how GTS will look at what is the final step for me from the processing act a point of view. So invoice creation itself final here. Here the invoice is, I mean, I don't care about invoice, because invoice, by the time invoice, everything is happened, completed. The receipt itself key. That's why we are using MM0B, MM0C for the post goods receipt or a goods moment. If you go back here, purchase order, and you can also see import, or sometime we call receipt. We import when you're doing internationally goods to your country, we call import. When you're domestically receive the goods, we call receipt. That's why SAP defined in a way that MM0A, inbound delivery, and material document, people call material document or goods movement document, or PGR. That's why they call application areas. And same way, if you open MM0A, if you look at MM0A also, it can be used for compliance activity, customs activity, risk. All three activity can be performed using purchase document, because at the purchase document only we should be able to validate whether the customer is genuine customer, or should I mean, I'm talking about services.
Yes.
Remember, what are the GTS services complaints? One is SPL, embargo, legal control. I'm going to, in the next class, I'm going to talk about in detail of each and every service. Okay. I'm trying to introduce this session, and next session also we are going to talk about more how we will connect with SAP S4HANA with GTS.
Yes. Okay.
What are the settings? In next class, I'm going to talk about how the communication should be established. What are the control settings? Most of the people doesn't not care about how this communication or how control settings is important. We are going to talk about each and every field here in the control settings. and we'll try to talk about each and every control setting, and with each control setting, what is the importance of it.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, so when I create a sales order, when I create a purchase order, for example, I should be able to perform all these three activities. And when I create a purchase order, I can also be able to initiate the risk management activities and a customs management activities. And if I go to inbound delivery, if you look at here, and this is also required only, I mean, with the required to inbound delivery, I will not be able to perform a risk management. Just ignore for now, just remember that with inbound delivery will not be able to perform a risk management. If you go to the third step, here we can able to perform all three I mean, in case of a customs management and risk management again, right? Here you don't see customs management, sorry, compliance management.
Yes,
The
yes,
reason behind is the goods already arrived to your plant, you already received, there is no point of performing compliance activity, hence SAP already removed that. I mean, SAP is think all these activity possibility, then they removed. Whether you wanted that service or not, that's a different story. SAP itself did not offer you to perform that.
yes,
Okay, I'm going to talk about all these factors, how this relevancy, what is the activation level, we are going to talk in the next class.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
till here we were talking about what is starting from what is a SAP ERP application. Okay, what kind of ERP application in the market, and how, why we need to use SAP as an application, how the integration works, and then we are also talked about how the integration works with GTS. Why do you need to have a separate box? How the high level communication? What are the RFC connections and all?
yes,
Then we were talked about how the sales flow and how the purchase flow, how the
yes,
integration at S4 side. Then next class we are going to talk about how we can connect with GTS. What are the settings we need to enable it here? Okay. Then I will go in, once we are clear with S4 side settings, then I will go and start with each and every service.
yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to go because if I explain SPL embargo legal control, which we already did in demo session, there's no point because I want to go in a sequence. First, I'm going to go with maybe try to complete by next class, or I will take one more class to
Yes,
complete all the S4 side setting, because this is a very much key. And if you don't understand this very much clearly, then you will not be able to follow in the follow-on sessions.
yes, yes. Got it.
So because I mean, I'm trying to go in little deeper and trying to talk about what is in term, what is a payment terms, because I'm talking all this because in the next sessions you need to know. I don't want to talk again, which is what is in term means, what is a payment term means. Okay, you should be able to understand from the next time when I'm talking about Incoterms. Okay, Kumar is talking about what kind of a delivery we are communicating with our customer. We
Mm-hmm.
are talking about a payment time. You should be able to understand. Okay, the payment time is always talk about how the customer is going to pay the money back to us,
Yes, yes. Got it.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions before we wind up for today?
Yes, sir. Everything is good, sir. Understood.
Okay, so I mean, I don't, I mean, I'm not able to give you much homework for you today, but
Yes.
what I
Mhm.
would request you to do is try to understand whatever terminology we used. I mean, if you made a note of it, it is okay. If not, please go through the recording once again, try to understand, and put me any questions for the next class. Before we start the next class, I will try to spend 2 to 3 minutes, see if any open questions on that today's session. Then
Yes.
we will go back. And second thing is, try to get your system access and try to familiar this node, right? If you go back, this is what we call SPRO. Okay, SPR is our transaction RT code, where we will be able to enter it here. Anything is, this is a block that, like how to say, if I want to go to sales order, if you remember another day, right? I used to enter VA01. VA01 also one of my transaction to create my sales order. So whatever transaction, we will enter it here. System will
Yes.
take to us. Like In case of GTS, we will also use this kind of a screen where we need to enter our transaction. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
But SPRO is the one of the T code where we will do all kind of a configuration.
Mhm.
Means all the settings will be done through SPRO as a transaction. Once you enter SPRO, go here and try to navigate to GTS.
Mhm.
Okay, means it will be part of integrating with other SAP components. Integration with governance, risk, compliance. Okay,
Yes.
and SAP Global Trade Services. Please try to navigate and try to understand what kind of activities here, and get come back with some questions, and we will go from there.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So Naveen, if you are in the call, uh, I want one small favor, if it is fine with you guys. Anjan, maybe on Thursday, I mean Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have a customer appointment where I need to be in my workplace at by 8. So I will not be able to take call. I mean only next those Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I will not be able to take late. Is it okay to start our call at 6:30 to 7:30?
In the morning, 6:30, sir.
Or late night, I mean, maybe after 9, any time.
Morning 6:30 is okay, sir.
Maybe Naveen or expert soft, if anybody is available in the
No,
call.
no, no. Don't worry. From our end, will be available. Don't worry.
No, no, not for you. Maybe can you also align with the
Other
other
parties.
person?
I'll check. I'll check. I'll check.
Mm. I mean, I'm okay. Actually, I'm more comfortable with the late hours, but I don't want to be go beyond 9:30. So next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I want to start with 6:30 or max by 7 to 8. So I should be able to close by 8. Then I can continue with my my daily activities. So Anjan, I mean this week my plan is that we should be able to familiar with the control settings from the
Yes, sir.
S4, and we also want to introduce a compliance very deep level. And I try to be, I mean, by end of this week we should be able to kind of a much familiar of GTS and basic activities in the compliance.
Yes, sure.
Hmm?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, as
Okay.
I mentioned, I want you guys to prepare, come with a more and more questions. That's how I can able to teach you more interactively. And I want it's not that I'm teaching you and you're simply listening and make a note. No, I mean I want to have a interactive connect. So with that, we will be able to deal these sessions very effectively, and you can able to learn things effectively.
Yes, sir. Yes, sure.
Mm, mm.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then if there is no other questions, thank you for today, and we'll connect tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you, everyone.
thank you guys.
Thank
Bye bye.
thank you, sir. Bye, sir.